Okay, I think we're about ready to get started here. Just so everybody knows, I am recording this, but that's just so we can post it up on YouTube a little bit later for anyone who missed it. They can go back and watch it. So just be aware of that. I guess we can go ahead and get rid of this message here. Got a lot of good stuff to show you guys today. So basically 4 main things we're going to go over, and I'll kind of just list those off real quick before I show them to you. But we're going to do some statement selection. That's a new feature that we've got into VisualDLP production. We've got 3 new reports that I want to go over real quickly. And we'll take a look at those and run them and show you guys what they look like. And then also I'm going to discuss this alternate delivery address feature that is now in production, where we can send orders to different addresses a little more intuitively now. So let me go ahead and get us into the statement selection that I wanted to show you first. So now at the end of the month, when we go to finance and statements, instead of just hitting generate statements, we're going to have a button that comes before that that says pick accounts. And so what this is doing is it's auto selecting all the statements that have a balance on them. So if there's any accounts that are zeros, those won't be selected. But you do have the opportunity, if for some reason you did need to print out a statement for this guy, you can just come in here and select it. So once you've verified that you have the accounts selected that you want, you would just hit the select these account buttons and then generate the statements. So that way your statement processing will go a little faster because you won't be rendering all those zero accounts. But if you do need to print those, of course, you know, maybe if you do print those anyway, it's as simple as just selecting all from up here. And so you can print it that way. So that's a neat little feature that'll save you a little time at the end of the month for the statement generation. And it's actually configured to where it's going to be grayed out here for generate statements. So it's going to force you to press this first. So kind of a, you know, this is the first step now in the statement generating process. But everything else will be the same. It'll still create your accounting period down here with a folder next to it for you to download and then print. So that's pretty much all there is to that. And then let's see, we're going to go into the reports next. So 3 new reports that we've added to our standard report library here. And the first one of those is a Dr. Ranking in Range report. We've had multiple requests for this. So we went ahead and got one configured, got it in here. Let's see how many, yeah, well, we've got a few accounts in here that have balances. So it's just, you know, it is what it is. The one who had the most invoices all the way down through the least. So fairly self-explanatory, but that does now exist in the software. The next report that we added that I'd like to point out is account sales by month in range. Now this is a pretty cool report. Let's go ahead and just do it for year to date so far. And what we're going to see is like kind of an Excel grid that comes up, and you can see their monthly invoices broken out by the month: January, February, March. Of course, if we had selected further, this grid would have opened up wider for the months that we had chosen. So that's a handy report that did exist in DL Plus that we've now got migrated over to the new software. The third report that we've added is, let's see here, commission report. So this is for any of you guys out there that use salespeople. I just selected this year to see what our salesperson here in our demo lab would have gotten. So basically what this report does is it's got a 4% commission rate on this particular salesperson, and that would be selected under the salesperson's profile, his commission rate. But the important thing to point out on this, excuse me, the important thing to point out on this report is that it runs commission off of paid invoices. So it's not just the fact that it's been invoiced, but you've actually received a payment that has been applied to that invoice. That's when the commission, or that's when that invoice would show up onto this report. So that's just a note to kind of take if you have salespeople and you need to figure out commission. We now have the commission report in the new software. Now, let's see, another neat feature that I'm going to bring up now is our alternate delivery address. Now let's go into an account and let's just show you what I'm talking about. So if you remember, this is something I like to say every time I do one of these. In our software, we have two layers, accounts and then doctors. Accounts are what get statements. The doctors are simply a list of names that can make charges onto the account. So now we've been running into some situations where we have labs that have, that there are practices that will have an account, but the doctors will have multiple addresses. So what I've done here is I've gone in to the doctors area. So Thomas Brick is our doctor that bills to the account Brick Dentistry West. So now I'm going to go into Thomas Brick, the doctor's file, and look under the billing accounts tab. Now we can see where Brick Dentistry West, we have a delivery address here of 555 Southwest 8th Avenue. Now we have the ability to select these addresses. So we can change this to the, come back and refresh it. There we go. So now we have the ability to choose an alternate address. And that's how you handle that through the actual doctor's page, depending on which account. You can get to him through the account, or you can also get to your doctors through here in the people section. So that's, those are the new sort of bells and whistles that I wanted to show off that are actually in production. But there is another thing that I'm really excited to show to you guys. We were able to show this off at in Chicago recently, and we got a lot of positive reaction to this. So we've actually got our integration with EasyRx and VisualDLP. We've got that in development, so I can actually demonstrate to you what it would look like from a doctor submitting a prescription to a lab receiving it in VisualDLP, all through the software. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to EasyRx. And so let me get back to the home screen of this. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this is the practice-facing software. EasyRx is the company we merged with. It's going on a year. We're coming up quickly on our year anniversary of being together, but this is what the doctor would see on his side. So I'm going to take you into creating a prescription, and we're going to send that to VisualDLP, and I'm going to show you what that process looks like. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and I've been using this Faro Dental Lab as my sample. So we'll just put Ryan Geis. I'm going to put some extra characters on the end of my name, so it's easier to see when we see it pop up over there. So we're going to select our doctor. These are the mandatory fields that we need to fill in. Will be patient first, last, date needed, which is sort of a date. It's strange wording, but it's, think of it more of a date requested, because when you receive this order, it's gonna it's gonna bring it to your VisualDLP, and it's gonna check the schedule, and it's gonna warn us if we have enough time to do this or not. Here, let's just go ahead and get that out of there. It wanted me to pick one really bad. So we'll just leave it as Ryan as my real name. So, and then the way they have templates that they can use down here. It kind of moves it around to the tooth, and they can click on the actual product itself and choose the shade. It's pretty neat. And then they can, there's a little bit of an inner order communication form here. This is a comment. Spell it right. Test. So we'll save that. We'll see. This is a comment test, comes up on the other side. You have to select something down here. The reason I'm selecting this is because I'm going to go ahead and just upload an STL file from this side. And that I'll show you how this file just gets dumped directly to VisualDLP. So now that the doctor has created his prescription, I think I filled everything out that I needed to. We've got our file attached. Let's sign and submit. It'll I think it'll fuss at me if I forgot to fill something out. So let's see. It's thinking. So now we have submitted the order for Ryan Geis to the dental lab, and we can see here on this little progression chart that it was submitted today, the 12th. Now let's go over to VisualDLP, and so this is the order that was just submitted. We can see 10:45 a.m. came through. It's 10:45 right now. So we'll click on it and I'll show you what you see. So now the order has been submitted. We at the lab need to check it in. We need to make sure it's doable, make sure what he's requesting is okay. So we see that he's got these 3 PFMs ordered. We're going to check out the scheduling detail, because what I'm going to show you is that our PFMs in this in VisualDLP in my demo site, they don't have a default workflow set to them, but I'm going to go ahead and just pick the workflow manually. And then once I do that, after it thinks about it for a second, it's going to schedule the case. And now it's going to fuss at us because the doctor is requesting it on the 16th, but we're not going to be able to have it done until the 26th. So that's a neat little warning to have. So I don't know if that means we can change the workflow to a rush workflow, or we could, perhaps call the doctor and tell them that we would need a little more time on this case. But now that we've done this and we've scheduled it, let me go ahead and save it. Fusses at us again because we still haven't done anything about the due date. I want to go over here, and this is what the doctor will see on his side when I refresh his screen. Oh. We will see that, I need to, it won't let us check it in because it takes too long. So let me adjust the due date on this. There we go. There we go. Didn't fuss at us. So let's see if we wrote that back to the checked in at lab. Maybe that's giving us a little bit of a bug here. The next step would be to invoice the order. Show that it was invoiced. Let's see if that gave us a trigger. Still not thinking about it. Well, regardless, there are the notes that we sent. This is a comment test. So we can actually go back to them, add a note. Hi, thank you. Let's go ahead and select what kind of note it is. We could actually, we could send them to an email just to notify only. We could even require approval. And they would get a message on their side that would say, we need you to approve something before we can go any further. So you would just want to pick which sort of note that was. We'll just do the notify only right now, and we'll save the note. And then also the file we sent over, the STL file, right there. So we could see that. The cool thing about, let me get back to that order. The cool thing about EasyRx too is that if they, EasyRx is fully integrated with Itero. So if they do their STL files that way, they can just dump them in directly. I don't have that on my computer. So then I think other than that, that is basically how our integration with EasyRx will look like once it is in production. There's still a few more things to sort out. I've also been informed as well that our integration with UPS World, is it UPS and FedEx, is in full swing now. We should have that ready and up and running in a matter of weeks, is what I've been told. I know we've got another developer working on that. That's full speed ahead on that project. So hopefully that'll be in soon. Now, let me open up the chat. That's all I had today for the presentation part. Let me check the chat here and see if I've got any questions that came through. And it doesn't look like anyone's had any questions. I have everyone muted, so if anyone wanted to ask a question or had anything, now would be the time to put that into chat. Let me unmute. Okay, I took off the admin mute, so I'll just kind of hang out for a minute or two, see if anyone has any questions. If not, feel free to drop off. Like I said, we'll have this posted up on YouTube, and I'm sure we'll send out a link to it once that's up. And so if you want to go back and catch anything that you missed, that'll be available for you. So Sure. Summarize each of the new features that I just presented. Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I showed was statement selection. And that's when at the end of the month, you actually get a list. All the accounts that have balances will be auto-selected. Accounts with zero balances won't be selected so you don't have to process a statement for those accounts if you don't want to. You can select them if you do, but it's kind of saves you a little time on processing statements at the end of the month. The next thing I went over were 3 reports, new reports in the software: doctor ranking and range, account sales by month, and our new salesperson commission report. After that, I went over the alternate delivery address that doctors can have separate from the accounts. So you have a way to choose that. And then I demonstrated the portal between EasyRx and VisualDLP, how a doctor would submit an order, and then how the lab would then receive that order, check it in, invoice it, and then ship it out. Then that was it for the presentation. That was it for the new feature. Well, the new features. But I should also make it known too that the integration between EasyRx and VisualDLP is just in development right now. What I showed you was from a development site, so that'll be in production here. I'm not sure. I think by summer is a good safe estimate, because I know they're really close on it. But the first 3 features I discussed are actually new production features that exist in the software that you would be using today. And then let's see. Tariq is asking, can we email as integrated while missing any information? I'm not sure if I understand the question. You can have inner order messages between the it's under this notes section. Remember, we typed in this is a comment test. Is that what you're talking about, Tariq? Can we email? Can we email as integrated while missing information on Easy Web? I'm not quite sure I understand the question, Tariq. We don't have an email client built into VisualDLP at the moment. We do plan on having with regards to statements. Okay, yeah, but we do. This is something. You do bring up something. Maybe even if I'm on the wrong subject, but yeah, you do bring up something that I want to talk about anyway. If one of the features that we're working on, we hope to have implemented soon, is be able to flag accounts as email accounts, or sort of like a physical statement account. And then at the end of the month, when the statements are printed, we will just have those generated to the emails that are listed in the accounts and just sent to those automatically. Export data is what we have for you now. We have a very when people have been asking about CRM and the new software, we have account notes that, it's unlimited. You could put as many notes on an account as you want. We called them today, but there's not any features that will have any automatic pop-ups or anything like that as of yet. And we don't integrate with any third-party CRM currently. I don't know what the plan long-term for that is. If we plan on kind of developing our own thing or maybe doing an integration, I'm not positive on that one. But export data, absolutely. That's always an option. And that's just the transactions, for example. Be over here. I think I'm slowing down my web with all the sharing I'm doing, but apologize for the lag there. So yeah, Tariq, why don't you give me a call a little bit later, and if you have any more questions, and we can go over any of that stuff. I'll try to answer them as best I can. If not, um, that's all the things that I had to discuss today. So I hope everyone learned a couple new things and kind of saw what we're up to over here. So I'm gonna have to. I hopefully will have that up. Jamie's asking when we'll have the webinar up on YouTube. Hopefully we'll have that up as soon as possible. I mean, it's only going to be a 30-minute video, so I don't think it takes that long to upload. I think it's just a matter of us getting it up, and I can definitely let you know when it is up, or I'll see if they're going to send out an email notifying everyone. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's it. Jamie's saying she got interrupted and missed a lot of the presentation. Well, hopefully that's what the purpose of the the YouTube video will serve its purpose, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of the day, and we look out for another one of these probably in about a month. That's what we're shooting for. You know, I don't think we did any last month, but we're gonna get on a regular schedule here, and hopefully you guys learned a couple things, and we'll just be talking to you real soon. All right, everyone, have a great day. Signing off.